game, LeBron James came back, played in a second game for the Lakers yesterday, and after the loss, ripped the NBA for the play-in tournament, ripping the NBA's playoff format. The Lakers, of course, have lost 3 straight. Now they're in a 3-way tie with the Mavericks and the Portland Trail Blazers for the 5th, 6th, and 7th seeds in the Western Conference. Of course, the play-in cuts off after 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 are all together in the play-in tournament. Seeds 1 through 6 are automatically qualifying for the playoff spot. So the same kind of debate after LeBron ripped the NBA, the same types of comments were made by Luka Doncic earlier in the season when the Mavericks were embarking on a difficult midpoint in the season. And of course, their owner, Mark Cuban, echoed the same types of comments. And at the time, I thought I completely understood why Luka, the player, made his comments from his perspective, but I thought that Mark Cuban's comments were extremely, and all of his criticisms were extremely hypocritical, because he is on the Board of Governors, and the Board of Governors unanimously voted to institute an NBA play-in tournament. So it was very frustrating to see a guy in Mark Cuban be frustrated with the way that this whole play-in tournament and the standings and the seedings were shaking out, because you were the guy who voted on it. So I took issue with that. I took umbrage with that. The problem with LeBron James making these comments, and I understand his point of view, he's in his 18th season. He's carrying miles and miles of of wear and tear on his body, his age. I completely understand why LeBron James feels this way, and I completely understand the shift in the tone. But if I, Jonah Malkin, am going to be 100% transparent about this, I have to be consistent now as I was the way I reacted when Luka Doncic and Mark Cuban came out and made these comments. And the reality is, LeBron James right now has some sour grapes. He has some sour grapes. He didn't envision a scenario in which the Lakers would be in the play-in tournament. And that's why he stayed mum throughout the majority of the season. And now that the Lakers find themselves in this new reality, this is how he's acting. He's a little pouty that the Lakers may have to be in the play-in tournament. They tried to avoid it. And unfortunately, it was injuries that derailed the momentum that they had. This was a team that was atop the Western Conference standings to start the year for the majority of the season. And then all the injuries ensued, and they started to fall in the standings. And so at the time, LeBron didn't feel it was necessary to make any of these comments. But now that they're struggling and are firmly in the mix to be in that play-in spot, he's complaining. And so, LeBron, I understand your frustrations. You're just going to have to pull up your straps here and deal with it. Now, again, I think that it's different. LeBron is different from Mark Cuban. LeBron has the right and has earned the right to voice his frustrations and to verbalize his criticisms of the NBA's play-in tournament. He has the right to do that because he is a player. So while he had the right to do that, I didn't believe Mark Cuban had the right to do that. And there is a big difference there, because Mark Cuban, again, voted on this versus LeBron didn't have any say. He didn't have a vote in whether or not this would actually take place. But if you're LeBron, this just comes across to me as a bit pouty, a bit whiny. And again, I understand why he feels this way, and he deserves the right to feel this way. But you're in this situation. You're just going to have to deal with it. It's as simple as that. You're just going to have to deal with this situation. And the Lakers find themselves in this precarious spot. So we'll see how they respond.